Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Juan Rodas. Today we have new defender Joshua Yaro from Ghana for San Antonio FC. Joshua, how are you?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation today. We know you probably
Absolutely.
got out of training, and thank you for taking your time out of your day doing this for me.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So to start off, Joshua, you're born in Kumasi. Talk to us about a normal day in Ghana for you when you were back in Africa.
I mean, it's just like I have it here. I had school and I had training every day, and that was my life. I'd go from classes in the morning to training in the afternoon, and sometimes I train twice a day. Train in the morning, go to school, and then train later in the afternoon. It was a busy life for me, but one that I enjoyed because I got to combine both soccer and school, which is what I ended up doing in the U.S. A few years later.
For sure. And while you were in Ghana, what did you enjoy doing when you were back home?
Well, I definitely enjoyed spending time with my family because I'm really close to my family, and I had friends and people that I knew. That's where I grew up, and so that's home for me. And I did enjoy that. I did enjoy the environment. I did enjoy my culture, my food, everything, and that's something that I look forward to every day.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot say that now because I'm a little bit far away from home, but
Yeah,
I did enjoy those little things that sometimes we take for granted because it's just a daily routine for us.
for sure. And now, also still speaking about Ghana, what do you miss most about Kumasi? Anything in particular? The music, the family,
Uh,
obviously, the food.
like I said, I mean, number one is definitely going to be my family.
Yeah,
Because it's hard it's hard being away from family. But besides that, it's definitely the food.
the food.
'Cause I remember having a hard time in high school adjusting to the food, and it's a different culture. It's just the culture shock when I first got to high school, and the food, trying new foods, and it was just a different vibe for me, a different environment, and definitely the food and my family. Those are the two things that I miss the most about being home.
Hmm. And when you were a little kid, what sports did you grow up playing? Was it just soccer, or were there any
Just
other
soccer. I
sports?
mean, it's culturally set up in a way that Ghana, you don't really get exposed. It's like the US. When I got to high school, that's also one thing that I found interesting.
Hmm.
That kids played three different sports a year, and in Ghana, you'd never have that. It was only soccer, and that's what you did the whole year.
Yeah.
And so I grew up playing just soccer my whole life.
Wow. And at what age do you think you can remember that you fell in love with playing soccer?
I mean, I always had, in a weird way, like I said, culturally, everyone plays.
Yeah.
Every kid in Ghana grows up playing soccer. But when I was almost 12, I got selected by one of the top academies in Africa, in Ghana, and in the continent of Africa, and now it's pushing to be one of the best academies in the world. And so I was fortunate that way that that transition made me realize that I could not only do it as something that I loved, but also something that I could pursue a career out of. So that's that. At that point, I did realize that I really had the chance, and I really had what it took to become a professional.
Talk to us about how that came about for you playing for that academy.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I got selected. I played for a local club, and so there was a tournament, and I played in it, and the academy selected me. So I tried out with the academy, and it worked out. There was a lot of kids, and only 16 kids were selected out in the whole country, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of talent in Ghana, some that goes undiscovered.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was fortunate to be in an environment where, or be in the right place at the right time. And I was fortunate enough to be among those 16 kids that were selected.
For sure. And we all know you're born in Kumasi in Ghana. If you were to get called up by the Ghana national team, would you accept?
Absolutely. I mean, 2 years ago, I met with the current Ghanaian coach. And he had good things to say, and because he's looking to revitalize the national team and bring in new faces and young people. And so it was a good meeting with him, and it's definitely something that if I'm called up, I'll gladly accept.
For sure. And in your humble opinion, Joshua, who do you think is the best player in Ghana history? Could it be Asamoah Gyan,
Yeah,
Kuala Samoa?
that's gonna be a tough one because Asamoah Gyan, it's he's a national favorite.
Yeah.
If you want to go all the way back, you got Abedi Pele, who I think it's probably the
Oh yeah.
most recognizable name in Ghanaian soccer, but that's a tough one. I probably would go with Michael Essien.
Ah, Michael Essien, the
Yeah,
Chelsea guy.
it's unfortunate that his career was cut short by injuries, but
Yeah.
when the man was healthy, the things that he could do and what he achieved, not, I think popular opinion, probably not, most people would not put his name out there, but
Yeah.
I think for what he did for the country and for the career he had, I'd say Michael Essien.
For sure, and he also did play for a lot of big clubs in Europe.
A lot of, yeah. I mean, he proved himself with a lot of big clubs in Europe, which is not an easy thing to do.
For sure. And talk to us about when you were a little kid. Did you always play center back, or was it like a different position?
Yeah, I've always played center back. I tried a few times when I was young as a defensive mid, but I was never into it. And I've always stuck with center back. That's my position.
Mm-hmm. And in 2015, if I'm not wrong, you moved to the U.S. on a scholarship at Cade School in California.
How? Yeah, I moved to Cade. I moved to Cade in 2010.
2010. Okay.
Yeah, 2010 to go to high school. Yeah, so it was. Yeah, way back in 2010, I was at Cade for 3 years. Because I came as a sophomore. I was at Cade for 3 years, and then I ended up at Georgetown. Yeah.
And then how did that offer come about from being all the way in Ghana?
So I got my academy had a partnership with Cade School, and there was actually one of my friends that left my academy to go to Cade his freshman year. And so I talked about him, and he was like, "Oh, it's an awesome place. It's a good opportunity to to combine soccer and school." So
yeah.
I thought about it, and when the opportunity came, it was the right time for me and the right thing for me because I wanted to keep pursuing both my education and soccer, and I think that was the right environment for me to develop both as a soccer player and as a student.
For sure. And have there been any other players that have came out of that school and possibly become a pro like you?
Yeah, you have Ima Boateng with LA Galaxy.
Wow.
Yeah. And Jeff Achampong with LA Galaxy too.
Wow.
So that's been, yeah.
Do you have a contact with them?
Yeah, no, I keep in touch with them. I mean, they're guys that I talk to, every now and then. Everyone has a different life, and everyone is busy doing their own thing all the time. But I try to catch up with them once in a while, and they both seem to be enjoying LA. I mean, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they both are doing well. They both are looking forward to the start of the season. So.
For sure. And talk to us about moving from Ghana all the way to a different continent, to a new culture, to a new language. Talk to us about that. Like, was it very difficult for you?
I mean, in a way, yes and no. I mean, I had been to other countries in Europe, other countries in Africa before that, and it's every country you go to is going to be a different culture. There's going to be some sort of culture shock, and
yeah.
I did have that a little bit when I got to the US because the US is totally different from Europe or Africa or anywhere else in this world, and so we're just getting adjusted to life in the US and learning some of the differences between the two cultures that I'm used to, and so that took a little bit of time, and some things were surprised, some things were shocking, but as it is with everything, with time, you learn to adjust to your environment, and I was fortunate to have a support system and a group of people that helped me do that while I was at Cade.
Oh, that's good. And anything in particular that surprised you about the U.S. that you didn't know when you were in Ghana?
I would say, I mean, the one big thing that shocked me was in the classroom, because Cade is a private school, and it's, classes are run totally different in Ghana than they are at Cade. But then again, I say that, and a lot of people are like, well, Cade is not a normal high school because it's different from a lot of high schools we see in the States. And I began to realize that as I got to see a lot of different states and a lot of different cities in the U.S. And so that aspect was really new in the classroom and the way that classes were run. But besides that, I mean, most things went just as I had experienced before, and there was nothing really too crazy, to be honest.
Sure. And now transitioning to college soccer, Joshua, you played for Georgetown for two and a half years, right?
Yeah, I played for 2.5 years, 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm. So how was it playing for them, and were there any other offers that you could have gone to, or would Georgetown was the only one?
There were a lot of offers, a lot of places I could have ended up, but for me, it was trying to find the right place, a place where I was going to enjoy myself playing soccer, and a place where I was going to excel as a student. And at the end of the day, I mean, Georgetown ended up, looking back now, was the best place for me. I mean, great school, great location. And the years that I was there, the program was really getting off, and we had a really good team.
Yeah.
That did really well, and so I was fortunate enough to be to have ended up at Georgetown. In terms of everything that I needed as a person, as an athlete, as a student, Georgetown definitely gave me that.
For sure. And 3 years ago, you got selected by the Philadelphia Union. Talk to us about when you heard Don Garber said Philadelphia Union selects Joshua Yaro.
It was weird because, out of all the teams that I thought I was going to get selected by in the draft, it wasn't Philly.
Why?
Because, I had meetings with the teams, and I had good idea teams that were really interested in teams that were talking to me that they were going to try to get me, and Philly wasn't one of them. And so it was a surprise, but it was a good surprise. And it's weird. It's a sign of relief when you hear your name, because at least you know where you're going, not to worry, and you just prepare for the next steps. And so that was a really big relief, because I remember sitting there nervously just waiting for my name and trying to figure out where I was going. And it's good when you know where you're going and where you're going to be. And when my name was said, I wasn't surprised, but it was a sign of relief for me.
And when you did sign your first professional contract, was there anybody in particular that you first called, like your mom or father?
Well, my parents knew about it. I already had a contract going into the draft, so I wasn't. My situation was a little bit different from most people at the draft, because I already had an existing contract before going into the draft.
Was it the Generation Adidas one?
Yeah, I was a GA, so I didn't have to worry about that aspect, because my family already knew about it. Everyone already knew about it before going into the draft. So it's just a matter of trying to find out where I was going to end up.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, you got selected by Union. You spent 3 years there with the Philadelphia. What did you learn? Like, let's say the most thing from being there 3 years.
Playing at this level and at any level, it's hard. It's hard work. It's competitive. But the one thing that I did learn was taking your chances. Because it's hard to get a shot, and it's hard to get a look at. But when you have those chances, and they will come at some point, take them and take them well. I think that's for me. That's the one thing that still really sticks with me, because every opportunity, it doesn't matter how small it is or how big it is, it's an opportunity, and you got to make the most out of it. And I think at this level, that could be the difference between having a good career and having a bad career.
And from your time being there, do you think you can name possibly one of your best teammates from being on Union? Because there was a lot. There was a lot of players,
Yeah, no, a lot of because I had one of my my college teammates drafted with me, Keegan and
Rosenberry.
Yeah, we've always been close since college. But then when I got to the Union, actually, I became pretty close with Andre Blake. Because he's a goalie, I'm a center back, so you develop that relationship. We sat right next to each other in the locker room, and he's a guy that I think embodies a lot of the things that I see in me as a person. Really, really, really nice guy to talk to overall, and so I ended up becoming close with him in that way.
For sure. And was there any Ghana connection? Because there was a lot of Ghanaians.
Oh, there was.
Yourself, Sapong.
My last year, I had David, who actually, weirdly enough, is from Ghana, and we play for the same academy team in Ghana.
Wow.
I had
Jones.
Yeah, Jones is from Ghana. I had CJ, who's Ghanaian. Yeah, so it was good that way. It was good. And personally, when David came, it was good for me, because he's someone that I've known for a while now, and it was good to have someone like him on the team, on the same team.
For sure. And could you name a particular best game that you played for the Union?
Probably not my best game, but a game that I always remember, and a game that I always look back to, is when I made my debut in Seattle. Back in 2016. It was a game that I thought, for a first game, was a strong performance for me. Although unfortunately we lost 2-1.
Yeah.
It was on the road. It was a good day for me. I thoroughly enjoyed myself that day, and finally being out there and finally being able to live my dream. And so I always remember that game as a game that got me started with my professional career.
For sure. And talk to us about playing in Seattle, because as we all know, it's a big stadium. It's in front of a lot of fans.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that experience. That not a
No,
lot of people could say.
yeah, that's why I said, although it might not be my best game, but it will be my memorable game. Not because it was my debut, but you play in front of a lot of fans and it's
Yeah.
loud. And I remember not being able to hear even some of my teammates on the field. It was loud and it was, although you were playing on the road, but you felt the energy that came from the fans and added to atmosphere, and it was just a great environment to play in. And so, yeah, no, it's a crazy place to play. It's a tough place to play. But I'm glad I was able to make my debut there, and I was glad that I actually came out of it. Even with the loss, I felt a little bit like, okay, this is it. I finally made my debut. I finally had a game as a professional player. So it was good in that regards.
And let's say if you weren't to become a professional soccer player, Joshua, what profession would you like to be in?
I would have probably pursued diplomacy. I want to be a diplomat one day, and I've always said that. That hasn't changed, and that's what I went to school for. So hopefully one day I get to do that. I get to live that dream as well, just as I'm living my dream as a professional athlete now.
And we all know you're born in Ghana. How many languages do you speak total?
I can understand a little bit of French. I speak English and some Ghanaian languages, which I feel like once you go outside of Ghana, it's not really relevant, since it's a regional language. So I don't count those, but I can speak English and I can understand a little bit of French.
How many Ghana languages do you know?
Yeah, that's a tough one to put on. Let's see. I can speak fluently between 5 to 7.
5 to 7 languages in. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Some of them I can understand more, so I can speak. But I can only write in one, which is weird. But yeah, it's But yeah, no, I do speak quite a bit of the Ghanaian languages.
Wow. Okay. And throughout your career, Joshua, is there a striker that has been very, very hard to contain throughout the box, or throughout like a 90-minute game? Jay Simpson, David Akam, Sapong?
I mean, those are my teammates. I play against them every day. But one of the, God, I remember going against DJ Drogba, and that was a tough job. Because I got his size, I got his ability. That was pretty tough. The Vivir was a tough one as well, because he's really sneaky with his movements. Like, you have to have an eye on him all the time, and that's hard to keep track of sometimes. But no, those two guys. More so with I played against Robbie Keane when we played LA Galaxy my first year. Unfortunately, he did not. I don't think he had a strong game that day. So in that regards, and I only played against him once before he retired. But DJ Drogba I played against him multiple times, and he's always been a handful.
Yeah, I mean, that boy he's a legend for Ivory Coast.
Yeah, it's hard to go against him with his size, with his ability. I mean, it's a deadly combination.
How was it playing against Didier Drogba? Because obviously he's an African legend, but like, how was it playing against him?
I mean, he's a good player, but besides that, he's a really nice guy. Because I remember after pretty much every game, he'd come to me, or the first time we played against each other, he came to me and I asked, "Where are you from?" I told him Ghana. He's like, "Oh, Ghana, Ivory Coast, neighbors." He started joking about it, and I shook my hand and said, "Good job today. Keep it up." And so you don't have many people, especially with his caliber, be that friendly.
Yeah.
After games, but he was always encouraging. He would tell you when you did well with stuff on the field, and that's just a really cool thing to have, especially with someone like him.
Do you guys ever exchange jerseys?
No, I don't think I ever exchanged jerseys with anyone.
Really?
I never did.
You don't like that?
I'm not a big fan of that, but that's just me. That's just me.
For sure. And then after, let's say, you retired, Joshua, do you plan on opening an academy after your career, possibly in Ghana, or do you might have in mind to become a soccer agent?
I don't know. I mean, it's always been tough for me, and I've always played soccer. I've always been in sports, but I don't know if I want to stay in sports when I'm done. I might do something, help out in some capacity, but I don't think I'm going to become a coach or an agent or anything like that. And just to open an academy, I'd probably support the academy that I came from, or other academies that are trying to get off the ground. And so I don't think I per se would open up my own academy, but I would do whatever I can to support existing academies and try to help with their cause.
And obviously, you played in the MLS. You're playing now in the USL. Is there any league in particular that you would love to play for? Anything that attracts you from that league?
God, I would say, I mean, La Liga. It's really, I like how the league as a whole plays. You know, it's really tactical. It's really technical, and I do like that style of playing. And so Spain would be a good place to end up. But then again, I mean, with I say this, in anywhere in this world, any league, it's a good exposure and it's a good way to get to learn about different countries, different cultures, different style of playing. And so anywhere, like I said, you know, in the beginning, anywhere there is an opportunity and anywhere I get to end up, it's an opportunity for me to make myself as a professional athlete better and to make whatever team I play for in whatever league it is in. And so just have to approach every league with the same mentality, every game or every team, whatever it is, with the same mentality as you always give it your all. You know, you try your best, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then too bad. You figure something else out.
For sure. Obviously, what do you think African teams need to do? To do better in the World Cup. From obviously this past one, most African teams didn't even pass the first round.
Yeah.
But what do you think, in your opinion, that they have to do to qualify to the next round?
I mean, it's tough, and I don't know why. And if there's someone that has it figured out, great. I mean, they should let me know. But it's most African teams always have the players and have the ability to make it past the group stages, but somehow we always end up short. I don't know what it is. If it's just a mentality, because I think with some self belief, I think African teams can go far. And you saw it. I think it was in 2010 with Ghana.
Yep.
When, almost made it. It was an unfortunate way to get out of the tournament, but it's just African teams just gotta have to start believing that we are good enough to compete with the rest of the world because we produce a lot of talent.
A lot.
And it's just also putting together the right team, because sometimes and you've seen teams that have this where your best players might not necessarily be the guys that you have to play. If a guy is your best player and the guy is not working hard enough or is not giving their best, you play someone else.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes African coaches, African teams usually almost rely on this is our best player, he has to play regardless. But no, if someone else is doing better at that point, play them. Play them. And so I think it's just a matter of the coaches figuring it out and the players themselves sitting down and looking deep into themselves and believing that it can become a reality where an African country can go all the way and win it. And until that starts happening, I don't know. I mean, it's just it's pretty weird now you think about it, because it's sad for me, especially with Ghana, the amount of talent, and the fact that we didn't even qualify for the World Cup. That's a shame. But I think most African countries are now doing a good job of trying to reinvent themselves and trying new approaches to figure out the right way to put out a good team to compete. Yeah.
And we all know in this summer the African Cup of Nations is coming up. Who do you think is going to win it? Ghana?
I mean, I'd say Ghana, but I'm being biased. It's hard to say. I don't know. It's hard to say because
there's a lot of good teams. Cameroon, Senegal, Nigeria.
Because you used to have the powerhouses. You used to have Cameroon. You used to have Senegal. You used to have Ivory Coast, Ghana, Egypt. That used to dominate. And now all of a sudden you're having all these countries come up and surprising everyone. And so it's tough to say, but I always put Ghana up there.
Yeah.
I think we still have a good enough team. So pulling for my own country, I think Ghana. It's although it's not 100%, if I'm being honest, but I think Ghana has a good chance of winning it.
Yeah, for sure. And do you have any rituals, Joshua, before any games? Do you read? Do you pray? Talk to parents before a game, or nothing?
I mean, I usually wake up, I eat, I relax, go to the game. Nothing special, really. It's just more. I mean, at this point, it's really more mentally getting ready for it, because I think that's the biggest thing as being a professional athlete, because it's a lot more mentally. If you had a bad game, the previous week and you don't get over it, that's going to affect the next game, and it's going to keep affecting your games. And so, how do you mentally just get over that and prepare yourself for the next challenge and prepare yourself for the next game? And I think I've been in a situation like that before where, mentally I wasn't right, and when that happens, it just affects everything else on the field and everything you do as a player. And so I just try as much as I can on game days just to mentally prepare myself for what's coming, and just deal with situations as they come.
Mm-hmm. And then, what do you do in your free time? Because obviously you're pro soccer player. Obviously, you probably don't want to do soccer. But what do you enjoy doing in your free time? Play FIFA?
I practice. I come home. I sometimes try to nap. I watch TV. I sometimes read. Days that there are other like EPL games or Liga games. I watch it. I eat. I sleep. Nothing really special, to be honest. It's just a lot of it is just rest because your body goes through a lot, and your body needs time to recover. And you have practice every day. You have games over the weekends. You have maybe one day a week off where you don't do anything. But and even on my off days, I just sleep because I just let my body recover. And because you think about it, your body is where you need to work.
For sure.
And if it's not working right, then you're not going to be able to perform. And so I try as much as I can to make sure that my body is right and I'm ready for the next day, ready for the next game.
Mm-hmm. And now transitioning to 2019, Joshua, you get signed by San Antonio FC. The USL level has gotten a lot better from the past few years. What are your expectations for this upcoming season?
It's a good group. In San Antonio, we have a lot of new guys, and I think the coaches have done a really good job of scouting players and putting players together that are going to work well, that are going to become a really good team. And there's that belief in the locker room, and there's, I think we have a good enough team to win the USL Championship this year. Wow. And I'm not saying that because I'm part of the team, but I actually that is a reality because you have a lot of talent in the locker room. Mm-hmm. Credit to the coaches and the team that they've put in together. Because look, I think there's only 6 or 7 returning players. Everyone else is new. So they've done a lot. They've done a lot to put together a good team, and that allows us as players to be able to play with each other, to be able to compete for the championship. And I think if we don't get to the final, if we don't win it, it's going to be, even if making the playoffs is not just a goal for us. It's because most teams, you make a playoff, that's a benchmark for having a successful season. I don't think that's what we're looking at. We're going to make the playoffs, we're going to make a deep run, and we're going to win it. And so I'm excited about the group. I'm excited about the season and what it holds. And it starts in, a little bit over a week. And so we're really looking forward to kick off things. And I'm looking forward to a really successful season with this team.
For sure. And how is it playing with Ebenezer Okon, also from Ghana? And how is the diversity within the team? Because there's a lot of players from a lot of different countries. How is that?
Yeah, no, we have guys from all over the world, and it's always good when you have a locker room like that because everyone brings their own experiences, and it's always good when you have guys from your country that you can speak the same language with, and so it's nice having him, having Ebenezer in the locker room as a teammate. It's also nice that we have a lot of guys from different places that have played in different countries, in different leagues, because everyone brings about a really valuable experience and experiences that will help us grow as a team. And so it's good, and I'm excited about the diversity that we have in this group because that allows us to be able to share experiences and to be able to grow together as a team.
For sure. And if you could talk to us, what intrigued you about San Antonio FC to sign with them? Were there any other offers that you possibly didn't want to accept?
Not from the USL, because the only thing that I really talked to in the USL was San Antonio. Before that, I did have a few chances to stay in the MLS, but I think for my career and my development, this was the right path for me. And San Antonio is not like your average USL team. It's a really high organization. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've ever seen the stadium before, the facilities. It's really, it's a top organization. And being able to be part of something special and something unique. Yeah. And what the brand that they're trying to build here in San Antonio, I wanted to be part of that, and that's what attracted me. The coaches, the environment, everything. It's what I want and what I need as a professional athlete, and so it was an easy option for me when it came to it.
Mm-hmm. And you've played 3 stages. You played high school, college, and now professional. If you could explain to us, what is the difference between college level soccer and obviously the MLS?
I think the level gets better as you go up. Obviously, that's not it doesn't take a scientist to figure it out. High school, guys are good, but you get to college and everyone is scouted and everyone is brought in specifically for a reason, and so the competition goes up and you have guys that are really good. But once you get to professional level, every guy is smart and every guy, you cannot make some of the mistakes that you made in high school and in college and got away with. You're gonna get punished for it and you're gonna get exposed. And I think that's one of the differences because every guy is sharper, every guy is stronger, faster. It's just better athletes, great thinking, and if you make a mistake, people are gonna see it because you're gonna get exposed for it. While maybe you might not have in college or you might not have in high school. That is the difference. The speed of play is a lot faster at this level than it was in college. Those are some of the minor differences.
Yeah, and now obviously you're playing in the USL. You've played a couple friendlies right now in preseason. Is there any difference between the USL and the MLS?
Well, there's a difference because obviously the MLS, I'd say, it's a higher level than the USL. That's I think most people will agree with me on that. But you still have a lot of good players, a lot of people that have had professional experiences in Europe. A lot of people have had a lot of experiences in MLS that are coming to the USL level.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, the USL level has gotten a lot better over time.
Yep.
Because there are a lot of good players in this league. And so, and you've seen it where a lot of, even in preseason, a lot of USL teams are beating MLS teams in preseason. Yeah, that's preseason, but that just shows you that the level, although it's a little bit better than the USL, but it's not that far off. And USL teams have starting to compete with MLS teams and can actually do well. And so yes, there's a level difference in the level, but the USL Championship is getting a lot better. I think it's better than it has been in the past years, and it's only going to keep getting better with the amount of attention it's getting and with the amount of players that they're signing.
For sure. And if I'm not wrong, Joshua, you guys beat FC Dallas in the preseason game, right? In which you played.
We beat them 3-1. That's I think our first actual preseason game.
How was it playing against Dallas and beating them?
It was good. It's like I said. It was the same thing in when I played in MLS with the Union. You lose to a USL team, it's like, okay, we lost, but no one really. It's like you don't care, but for MLS teams, it's preseason, and they're playing everyone. They're trying to figure things out for themselves, and there's much more about getting the game than the score and trying to achieve your objectives rather than the score. But USL teams go, want to play, want to beat this team, and so the MLS teams is not all about the score. It's trying to achieve a specific goal, and once that goal is achieved, win or lose, it's preseason. So that's one way that you could look at it. But again, it's still a fantastic achievement when the USL team beats an MLS team.
And is there anything in particular, Joshua, that you can name that is probably the hardest thing about being a soccer player? Because at being televised, you guys get money, you guys go to clubs or women, but like everything is not just like that. Is there anything in particular that has been really difficult for you?
Not so much. Like our job, you do your job in front of a lot of people that are looking at you. You do that judging you all the time. You have your fans, you have all that, and that adds a little bit of pressure because when you don't perform, you have fans engaging with you on Twitter or social media, whatever it is, and not always in the nice way. And it's hard. It's hard to perform. To perform at this level consistently, and with the pressure that comes with it, you have to perform. When that doesn't happen, you hear from fans, you hear from a lot of different sources, from the media, whatever it is. And I think that's hard, especially for young professional soccer players. That can break your career if you don't take it. Because if you keep feeding into what the fans are saying or what the media is saying, it's going to crush you. You just have to know yourself, and you just have to stick with who you are and what you want to do, and you go out there and do it. You just have to block all the outside noises out. And I think that's for me, that was the hardest part when I was starting.
Yeah.
It took me a while to actually learn that and to get over it and realize that they're the fans. I'm the one that knows how to do my job, and I just have to go out and do my job and not listen to them or the media because everyone's going to have an opinion, whether you're playing well or not playing well. There's always going to be people that will criticize you, whatever you do, and so you might as well tune that out and just go out and be yourself. I think for me, at least, that's one of the hardest things. And again, that affects your mental capacity. And if you're not careful as a player, that could really lead in a direction that you don't want. And so being mentally strong, being mentally sharp, it's hard to do, but that's some of the things that you need to be a successful professional athlete.
And then when there are transfer rumors, Joshua, what goes through your mind? Because when you read social media or you read outlets of soccer news, what goes through your mind? Like, do you ever think like, I don't want to get traded, or like, what if this happens? Like, talk to us about through that.
No, I mean, I never was on a trading block when I was in Philly. I never had to deal with that. And times that happened was for me that wanted to trade, and so it's different. But I can imagine if you're a guy that he might get traded, and you go to practice every day with that in the back of your mind. It's like what do? Is this my team, or is this the next day am I going to be on a different team? Mentally, that's challenging. But then again, as a professional athlete, the club that you are with at that moment, until you leave that club, that's your club, and you have to give your best. You have to do everything you can once you step on the field, because it's not fair to your teammates if you don't give your best, because that affects the way that they play, that affects their performance. And you owe it to yourself, you owe it to the fans, you owe it to your teammates to always step on the field and perform and give your best. So whatever it is, rumors, whatever it is, you just, like I said, you have to tune that out, and you have to just concentrate on your job, which is going out there and performing.
Question, Joshua, any advice to little kids that you would give to them that want to be a professional soccer player like yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I always have a hard time answering that question, because I think every individual is different. But there are some things, like obviously if you want something, you have to work hard for it. You have to be disciplined, and you have to listen. And I think especially playing youth soccer, when I got to the States, where parents get pissed off at coaches, why is my son not playing? Why is, and it's almost like just the fact that the son is on the team, the son has to play. Yes, at that level you're trying to enjoy it, you're trying to, play, but you can only put 11 guys on the field at a time. And if your son is not playing, there's a reason why. Maybe the person playing for your son is better than him. Recognize that. And, just listen to your coaches, because I think, when I was growing up, the coaches that I had were amazing, and they helped me out a lot, figure out what kind of player I am. And like I mentioned, everyone is different. Recognize your strengths, recognize your weaknesses, try to work on some of your weaknesses to make it strengths. Just enjoy it, because like I said, at that level, the level of pressure is really low. It's you're just trying to enjoy it, just trying to play, just trying to enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, if you don't learn to enjoy the game at that age, when you're young, it's not going to get any better for you when you're playing. When it's a profession, because then the pressure comes, because if you don't perform, someone is going to come after you. You're going to sit on the bench. You're going to lose your job. You're going to, there's a lot of consequences that come with it.
Yeah.
So enjoy it. Just have fun. Be yourself. And with everything, you have to work hard. Right? We have to work hard for it, because there are a lot of people that will tell you, I want to become a professional athlete. It's like, okay, what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
Are you putting the extra work to become a better player? What are you willing to do to become a professional athlete? And when you ask people that, like, well, yeah, I train like once or twice a week with my club, and it's like, is that really going to get you where you need to be? Because you have people that are training every day, that are playing 2 games over the weekend. When you're that young, you have to practice, and if someone practicing more than you, sometimes talent alone doesn't cut it. So you just have to know, what you're willing to give up to become a professional athlete. And once you're there, even like now, you don't stop, because it's just the beginning. Because most of us always think about signing your first contract. I've made it. So you haven't really made it, because you haven't proven yourself. You haven't done anything as a professional athlete. Once you sign your contract, that just gives you the right to go out there and to prove yourself, who you are and who you can be. That's just a beginning. But for young people, just enjoy it. It's a process. Trust the process, and believe in yourself. Because I think if you don't believe in yourself, no one ever will. And when people doubt you, believe in yourself. If you know you're doing the right thing, believe in yourself. And at the end of the day, with hard work, with the right level of coaching and believing in yourself, you're going to get to where you need to be.
Thank you so much for your input, Joshua, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation. I wish you the best of luck this season. God bless. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you everybody for looking at my video. If y'all liked it, please like and subscribe. I will be releasing more content soon. But like I said, if you guys could speak your word about me to your friends, colleagues, parents, cousins, that would be grateful. Thank you so much. See you next time.